Hello again, students. Again, welcome to your English class. Last week, we studied about adverbs of frequency, and I asked you to make a video about your activities using adverbs of frequency and send it to me. As of now, there are few students who submitted their homework. So please do your homework. And the deadline is until tomorrow. And if you're having problems sending your video, you can save it in a flash drive. And if you're at school, you can go to 448 and give it to me. Okay? So now we're going to talk about our topic for today, which is topic for today is about film genre or movie genre. So a movie or a film is a story or event recorded by a camera as a set of moving images and shown in cinema or television. And these are the film or movie genre. So we have here action. Again, action. These films usually include high energy stunts, chases, rescues, fights, escapes, non-stop motion, spectacular rhythm, and heroes. So for action movies, we have the good guys and the bad guys. There are a lot of fight scenes, punches, shooting guns. Some of the examples of action movies are we have James Bond, The Expendables, Mission Impossible. Let's continue. The next one is adventure. Again, please repeat adventure. So adventure movies, these are usually exciting stories with new experiences or exotic places. Very similar to action films, they may include expeditions, treasure hunts, or searches for the unknown. So for adventure, we have a journey. We have a journey to complete, to finish something. So it's always exciting. It takes place in a different and different exotic places. So we have example here, The Lord of the Rings. Here we can see Captain Jack Sparrow, Pirates of the Caribbean, and of course, Jumanji. What are the other adventure movies that you know? Let's continue to the next genre, which is horror. Horror. The object of horror films is to make you scream and be afraid, very afraid. These films features lots of evil force, monsters, zombies, etc. So for horror movie, the purpose of this is to make you scared and be afraid for your life. These are the example of horror movies. So we have here the movie It, Annabelle. Who likes horror movie? What are the horror movies that you know? Let's continue. So the second one is romance. Oh. So romance, we have it is made to melt our hearts with stories of people finding each other and falling in love. It's like boy meets girl, girl meets boy. So it usually has happily ever after. And once you finish the movie, you will say, "Oh." So we have here example is Crazy Rich Asians, Me Before You. Do you like watching romance movies? Let's continue. So the next one is comedy. So comedy, it is designed to amuse and provoke laughter by exaggerating the situation, the language, action, relationships, and characters. These films have happy endings. So if horror, The purpose is to make you scream, be afraid. Comedy is the opposite. You will feel happy and light after or while watching this movie. So we have here The Hangover, Dumb and Dumber, and Mr. Bean. Who likes, and tell me, who likes watching comedy? And what is your favorite comedy movie? Let's continue. So we have musical. So films in which several songs sung by the characters are mixed with the narrative. The songs are used to advance the plot or develop the film's characters. So singing and dancing, they are part of the story. These are examples of musicals. So we have here The Greatest Showman, Mamma Mia, La La Land, and if you know Rock of the Ages, High School Musical, those are some of the examples. The genre is science fiction. Again, science fiction. So these films are visionary and imaginative, with heroes, aliens, impossible guests, fantastic places, futuristic technology, unknown forces, and extraordinary monster. So in science fiction, they use scientific understanding to explain the universe. They have computer machine, alternate universe, genetic engineering, and distant planet. So these are some of the example of science fiction movies. So we have the first one, Ex Machina, Arrival, The Matrix. So what are the science fiction movies that you know? And do you enjoy watching science fiction? Let's continue. So we have war. Again, war. So these films are usually about naval, air, or land battles, sometimes focusing instead on prisoners of war, military training, or other related subjects. So as you can see, we have here soldiers fighting and spies. These are some of the example of war movies. So we have here 1917, Saving Private Ryan, and American Snipers. Let's continue. Oh, this one is drama. Again, drama. So these are series presentations showing real life situations such as alcoholism, drug addiction, racial prejudice, religious intolerance, poverty, crime, and corruption that put the characters in conflict with themselves. So drama shows about real life problems. It's about our problem, poverty. We have no money, crime. And these are serious movies, so it often makes us cry. So these are examples of drama movies. So we have here Forrest Gump, Little Women, and Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying is Shawshank Redemption, one of the greatest drama movies. Let's continue. The next one is fantasy. Fantasy movies, they have fantastic themes. They have usually have magic, supernatural events, mythology, folklore, or exotic world. So for fantasy, they use magic, supernatural rather than technology. So we have here example is, of course, Maleficent and Harry Potter. Let's continue. So we have thriller. Again, thriller. Thriller, or also known as suspense film or suspense thriller, it involves excitement and suspense in the audience. So we have here fear and excitement. So what's going to happen next? It makes you hooked in your seat and your heart pumps. It's like, oh, what's going to happen next? So these are the example of thriller movies. So we have The Game, Gone Girl, and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Let's go on. So the next one is documentary. Again, documentary. So these films are non-fictional motion pictures intended to document some aspect of reality, primarily for the purposes of instruction, education, or maintaining a historical record. So, documentary, when you watch this movie, you learn something. So these are non-fiction, so it's based on facts, records. So we have documentaries about wildlife, sea creatures. Let's continue. So we have here animation. Again, animation. This is a film produced by photographing a series of gradually changing drawings. So this is not strictly defined, but rather a film technique. So it's a technique, and they have genre-like elements. So you have animation, science fiction animation, action. So we have here example of the animation. We have Frozen and very cute minions. The Monsters. Let's continue. So biographical. So these films dramatize the life of a non-fictional or historically based person or people. Such films show the life of a historical person and the central character's real name is used. Again, it's about the life of a real person. It tells us the story of about that person. So we have here example of biographical movie is Bohemian Rhapsody. So it's about the life of Freddie Mercury, who was the lead vocalist. And now we have Rocket Man. It's about another singer's life, Elton John. And the third one, I hope you know this guy, The Theory of Everything. It's about the life of Stephen Hawking. Anybody here who likes watching biographical movies? Let's continue. So we have here the Western movies. So Western movies, these films tell stories set primarily in the latter half of the century. So it's in the American Old West. So often centering on the life of a nomadic cowboy, gunfighter armed with revolver and a rifle who rides a horse. So as you can see from our video, cowboys who change their places time to time, and they have those guns and ride horse. So we have here, if you notice, the Magnificent Seven, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and this one, Django Unchained.